Happy end of 2025 and hello, happy new year to 2026. How are y'all doing? I hope everything's fine on your end, and I hope you're feeling a little better than I do in terms of health and wellness. Every year, I do some kind of wrap up or startup, either at the end or the beginning of the year, about how things have gone or how I intend things to go. And this time around, I'm doing a video at the end of 2025 rather than the start of 2026. A look back, a look forward, mainly because this year's had a lot happen personally and been one of the more challenging years on record for me. So I figure it's worth to be a little self-indulgent and talk a little bit about that, even though my channel is, I am very intentional about keeping this channel about the music, about the covers, about the original work, and not about my life personally. But if I am allowing myself to be self-indulgent for one video a year about my life, it'll be now. So here's that. I'll go over the specific details of the year, but one thing that has been present throughout the entirety of the year, both in an ambient way and also a very in-your-face kind of way, is sickness. Just sickness. Nary has there been an event this year that has not been tinged or plagued with some kind of illness. To get to a detail, I was in Naruto, the Symphonic Experience, the first ever North American tour of that amazing experience. 60 plus shows, so many cities, and I was a tenor vocalist for the show. I did roughly half of them, and then my good friend Trey Watson, they took the other half. And right from the jump of that tour, first ever time touring, I went in sick. Halfway through my time there, I got strep throat and had to be quarantined and wear a mask. If you actually came and saw me on the tour or saw me perform, I was probably sick during that time. Out of the roughly half shows I did, I only felt well completely for 7 of them, give or take. And that was immensely frustrating. Not that I did a bad job. My team was very complimentary of my ability to overcome it, to it not be noticed, to, I have enough adrenaline for the shows each and every night. And also huge shout out to Heidi and Emily, the conductors, as well as my singing partner, Lauren, for offering incredible tips. And there's other people I'm forgetting to mention too. Anthony, Matt, Calvin, Martine. I could go on. There's so many people, amazing people that tour I got to be with, and were extremely kind and generous of their time, and great and super helpful with tips and guidance to make it to where sickness didn't plague the performance. It just internally plagued me and my emotional well-being. A couple of traveling things that were fun. At the beginning of the year, Jonathan Young and I, my wife and his partner, went on a cruise together out of California, and that was awesome. It was Jonathan's first ever cruise along with his partner, and that was so much fun. And it happened so early in the year, I forgot that it's like kind of been couched in this year as well, but we got to do another one. It was super fun, and I want to do more of those. Yes, please. The reason I did only half the Naruto Symphonic Experience tour was because my family, I have 2 children, a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I didn't want to leave my wife and in-laws and community to do all the heavy lifting, so I needed to come back and be with my family for a part of that. And also, I had conventions that I already signed contracts for, so I wanted to honor those and perform for everybody who came out and saw me at those cities, especially in April. April was a huge month. I did 3 conventions back to back to back, and they were amazing. It was so much fun getting to perform in places I actually hadn't performed for before. Another fun detail, I got to open for Sam Haft of the Living Tombstone, Has Been, Hello Boss fame, and he was phenomenal. 1, great performer, but 2, genuine person. Got to have my table right beside him, and we had some really good conversations, and just a swell guy all around. Incredible music, obviously. But what a great experience that was. I took 2 trips to Japan this year. One early in the year was a little more pleasure, although there was some business in there. I got to go to Hokkaido, Japan, and do their snow sculpture festival, which was crazy cool. The second trip in September was actually a humanitarian missionary trip. We went to Wajima in the Noto Peninsula, which was affected by the earthquakes in 2024. I did actually sing some songs for community centers and the like, but we did prepare some food and offer encouragement. So it was a really special thing to be a part of, and it's great to give back to a nation and a people that I love dearly. A couple of fun projects outside of YouTube that I got to do. I got to be a part of the Outer Worlds 2 soundtrack, which is pretty freaking amazing. I got to be in an official YouTube video, Theater Kid, which is so accurate to me and my career and the conversations I had with the directors and the producers. I feel very privileged and honored to be a part of that project. And the reason they chose me was like, wow, you really thought this through. So it was cool to be a part of, getting to meet Jordan, getting to meet Emily, getting to meet the entire cast and crew. Really neat. Always interesting being in New York City and seeing that side of performance and musical theater that I love so much, but I either timidness or lack of effort and follow through have kept me from it for so very long. And I did that immediately following landing back from Japan in September. It was instant. Literally landed at 4 p.m. from Japan, and then at 4 a.m. was back at the airport that next day. So it was nonstop. My grandmother passed away, and that was pretty sudden. But my grandmother is a pastor, was the wife of a pastor, and very much knows where she's going. She got to say goodbye to everybody, and she's with her husband and all of her siblings, her 13 siblings. So there's a grieving for. I had a close relationship with my grandma. It wasn't as close as many of my cousins, um, but her children love her and miss her dearly. And I more or less feel for my dad because he now has lost his dad and his mom, and that's tough. I really can't put myself in those shoes right now because I have both my parents alive, and I have a great relationship with them. But I imagine that's a bit of a, if I dwell on it a while, there's a an ambient there's a weird floatiness. There's something really existential thinking about not having both your parents around anymore. And that's the course of life in a lot of ways, like that's supposed to happen. You'd want that to happen. I'd want it to be much later in my life, please. But I know there's pain there, and I know there's grieving, but I know there's a lot of gratitude as well. So whether you're a believer or not, good vibes, prayers for my family, for my father, for my mother, and for our entire family, that they have peace and a wellness and a fullness and a life well lived for Martha, because she was amazing. So don't worry for me. I say this as the owner of this channel. Do not worry for me. Do not. I'm not saying don't pray for me, but pray for my family first, please. Please. Let's see, projects and projects that did not get done that I said would get done in my previous video. The Has Been original album, didn't get it done. Bards and Ballads, original music Kickstarter album, did not get done. The follow-up to the second Wind EP, my dad's music that he wrote, he wrote a whole new set of songs that I was going to reimagine with Jonathan, and that didn't happen. I did do Stephen Baum. That's cool. That released. That was fully funded and sent out over 250 copies and have sold them at conventions, and that's been just so satisfying and really cool for the fan base to have something special, and for me to catalog my journey through the original Steven Universe series. So I'm excited for the future of that. But yeah, I must say it's hard to not point out just how frustrating this year has been from a recording standpoint. I've had many third-party jobs outside of my channel that I've been very fortunate to do and have been necessary financially at times. And wanting to get ahead, wanting to create more, between travel and in particular sickness. I can't tell you how many times I came into this office and a studio space, whatever you want to call it, and it would just take so much physicality and time and calm to get just an hour of wanting to record, of wanting to get something usable out of my voice, and then get the adrenaline up, it's a calm and adrenaline. It's like a real Zen thing to get something usable out of these sessions. And I do maybe one a week all year, and just cranking out something. That's why the channel didn't have as much in terms of new music or new covers, and the K-pop stuff. I didn't even get to do all the songs. I'm planning to. I have instrumentals. I have a lot of instrumentals. Just haven't gotten around to doing them because I've genuinely not felt well enough to do them. And when I've had to record, it's like I know I'm kind of, and I think anybody would know this, not just vocalists, not just singers or artists, but anybody who has a career. When you exert yourself in the middle of sickness, you set yourself up for taking steps back, and that's what's happened in a lot of cases. But that is also the nature of having two very young children. They get sick, you get sick, they get sick, you get sick, cyclical patterns, and it just stays there. So health has not been great. And not to mention that my wife's health has not been great. Kara's health has been also a struggle bus. We've all been through it. She had whooping cough for like a month and a half and it just didn't quit. It was like no quitting. She's over there looking up ways in which to cough more productively or better. How do I control my illness? And it's like, I just want this yoke to be taken off because it is such a weight physically, it's physically a weight, and then it affects your emotional being. I think funny enough, if there is something good that's come out of this, is there's a real spiritual closeness. I feel many of you know I'm a Christian, and this year of sickness and dwelling and longing and yearning for more has really drawn me closer to God in a very personal way. And there's a lot that's happened also worldly, locally, here in America and the world that's broken my heart over and over and over again. And like I said, I try to keep this channel very much about the music and about my life. And there's a lot of music that I sing about that I think is frankly fairly political as well as spiritual, at least my original music. And if I'm being self indulgent here, there's a lot of infighting within a religion, Christianity. There always has been, and this is here now. And it can be really frustrating and depressing. And in some ways, I feel a little bit like a stranger in a strange land, um, with my beliefs and how they convict me as opposed to how they convict my brothers and sisters. And if you know me well enough and you look at the totality of my channel, you can glean a lot of where my beliefs fall and who I am as an individual. And it's difficult to reconcile behaviors and beliefs of brothers and sisters who I would claim as part of the family of God. And to know that we have some animosity or some kind of there's this animifying, I don't think that's the word, but like villainy kind of feeling. Like I have animosity. There's a tension that we have. And that's a frustrating place to be because it's difficult to get through. You feel trapped. Um so that there's been a lot of that, especially in the latter half of this year. So that's been challenging. And another, not even silver lining, but the best thing about this year, between sickness and everything, have been my children. Not everybody wants to be a parent, and that is totally fine. Very valid to not want to be a parent for any variety of reasons. They're all valid. And yes, they are a money pit. They cost a lot. But I wanted to be a parent, and so did my wife. And it is given so much. When they discover something new, when they try something for the very first time, you get to sort of experience that with them too for the first time. You're like vicariously living this newness of life through them. And it's humbling. There's something really precious and beautiful about being in the proximity of that every day, that completely innocent, unaware, like taking in of life. And when they look to you, when a child looks to you kind of for confirmation of what they just saw or something they experienced, then there's this innate wonder of the world, but also of what should I feel? And they look to you. There's a massive weight of responsibility that you feel with that. But when, my daughter touches a butterfly or it hits her face and she lights up and then she looks to you like, isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing that this butterfly flew past me? And you're like, yeah, it is amazing. I hadn't taken a second to appreciate that in a long time. And that's that's a really changing thing. Life in some ways is a lot brighter because of them. It's more challenging because of them, but you experience both at the same time, and it creates this this beautiful discordance in you. And it's challenging and rewarding all at the same time. And there aren't enough adjectives that I could exhaust to adequately explain as someone who sought this out um, what it takes and what it gives. One thing it definitely takes is your health. But in some ways, in that sickness and in that lack of wellness, you're kind of a little more raw, defenseless, meek, and you sort of are postured like a child at that point, and you start to appreciate things even more. Maybe that's the thought I come to right now is there's much motivation in me. There's a lot of ambition, a lot of newness in me that I hadn't had before prior to the children and especially this year. But illness is really holding me back. Travel, timing, responsibilities, those things hold back too. And I mean responsibilities outside of the YouTube channel, familial, communal, um, relational, those kinds of things, third party things that I must satisfy. And that's what I feel going into 2026 is a focus on wellness, on health, on fostering ambition and passion and the pursuing of it, the diligent, joyful pursuit of those things. And there are factors that you probably have too, where there's time and there's finances, and those control a lot of the things in your life and the things I just mentioned in terms of the flow of them and if they get seen through to completion. I hope and I pray that the timing and the finances allow for these things to come. But if they don't, I want to do them with a joyful heart and an appreciation of the life I've been given and an appreciation and a gratitude for those who've chosen to be in my life and make it so rich and make it so joyful, and the opportunity that I am given every day by those people, by this career, by y'all, to never take it for granted, never stop searching for inspiration, always looking for ambition. Y'all have given me so much. The time to be with my family, the time to meditate and rest, the time to explore and wonder, finances to be able to build the foundation that I've built my family upon and been able to provide for them and my community and my friends. In 2026, I want to give back to y'all. This year, musically, I couldn't do as much as I wanted to for the variety of reasons I've already explained in this video. I want to make more music. I want to give y'all more ambition, and I want to give y'all passion and joy because those are the things you've afforded me, and to not give them back tenfold is a disservice to you, and you deserve respect. Whether you've watched every upload that I've had over this year, the many years, or you're only just now seeing this, know that there's a history that I am trying to honor between what y'all have afforded me and what you deserve from me. That all being said, I'm going to show you some clips of this year from my phone reel that I just never get to share. I've just kept there. Some of them I just don't share because they're really private and my children's faces are on there and I don't want that. But I'm gonna be tasteful here, and I'm gonna show you the year in highlights and bits and pieces, so y'all can see what you've been able to make happen on my end. I don't want to make any promises for the kinds of projects that'll come out this year. I did that last year and I wasn't able to follow through, but I can promise that I will try. I love you all. Thank you again. And here's to 2026 and giving back. Peace, love, and metal. And I'll see y'all next year.
I wonder if my mother needs her mother when she's hurt. I wonder if my father needs his best friend at his worst. I wonder if my grandfather still misses his first son. And where does all the love go when you love someone who's gone? I wonder if my grandma could still lend me her advice, if I would be the same or if I'd lead a different life. I wonder just how much I'll lose in a life that's good and long. And where does all the love go when you love someone who's gone? Oh, I know it's only special 'cause it ends. I'm still terrified I'll outlive all my friends, but loving just to lose is not next to his
Mommy's
front
trying to
door.
sleep. Come back, let's read.
Years now it's sat empty.
Buddy, come in.
He don't live there anymore. Wonder if he thinks about him sitting on his lawn. And where does all the love go when you love something that's gone? Oh, I know it's only special 'cause it ends. I'm still terrified I'll outlive all my friends. But loving just to lose is not the same as wasting time. I've come to realize.
That was cute.
Are you patting her to sleep?
Forever, when you see it all so clear. If you can't reach out and touch it, was it ever really here? Maybe loving once is worth the pain of going on. But where does all the love go when you love someone who's gone?